But I do want to switch a little bit into your new course. Like I know I remember Bill Gates saying something around the long lines of he wanted a superpower, like the ability to super read. In a world now where we have like 2x speed audiobooks, like how does like your course help clients get the most out of their reading, comprehend it better, and like put everything into action?
Yeah, so that was the main reason I built the course because I think speed reading courses kind of like the get rich quick scheme of the reading world or the book world, because like speed reading is just reading twice as fast to remember half as much. It's kind of like, if you want like good analogy, imagine if you try to bike through a museum. Like, yes, you get through the museum faster, but you don't remember seeing like the great art or the great sculptures, and like, what's the point of getting through it quickly? Like, same thing. Like if you go to like a five-star restaurant, you want to sit down and enjoy the meal. You don't want to eat it in 10 minutes and just be in and out. That's not enjoyable experience. So my course focuses on helping people or teaching them how to read better and smarter, not just like faster. So I cover like how to find books that you'll actually enjoy reading, like how to build a consistent reading habit, how to take notes in your books, how to remember more of what you read, how to like apply what you learn. So it's not just, listen to the book on 2x or 3x speed, because that really won't do much for you. It's like find out or learn how to find books that you'll actually enjoy reading, learn how to get the most value from them and extract key lessons, and then figure out how to actually apply those lessons to improve your life, which is the main point of reading books.
Yeah, what made you go down the course route as a creator versus like other things you could have done? Like, what specifically made the course specific and important to you?
So the first time I launched the course was about like a year or two ago, where I actually did like a live cohort because I wanted to test the idea, and I also wanted to get like immediate feedback from people. So when you have a live audience, you could kind of tell like which lessons really stick and which ones don't. So I think that was super valuable, and also I like the idea of just uh I think Jack Butcher has this quote that you build once, sell twice. So once you build a course, you could sell it to an infinite amount of people. So that's just incredibly, a great leveraged product. And yeah, it's like if anyone wants any of my reading tips or they want to learn how to become a reader, it's just like buy this one course and you'll learn everything I know in like 2.5 hours. So I think that's like a great deal for both people.
Yeah, I have a question. Like, why do you want to help people read more, or just like, where's the passion come from that? I know your personal experience. Like, what then makes you go, okay, this is why other people need to read more, learn how to get more from their writing. I mean, reading, etc.
I think it comes from the fact that like school teaches you how to read, but not how to be a reader. Or just because you're illiterate doesn't mean you love reading. So that was really like eye-opening to me that, reading is a skill and something you could get better at. So, I have a lot of friends that say like, oh, I'm not a reader, or I just never really enjoyed books. But that just comes down to the fact that you just haven't found the right book, or you just haven't, you just got stuck in like high school. You were forced to read all these books, and that kind of killed, your passion for reading, because I know they enjoyed reading books as a kid. So I think it's reading, helping people refine their passion for reading, helping them find books they really enjoy. And, once they do that, they kind of, I guess they spend their time becoming a better person. And so if you could help people, reach their potential or, improve their lives, I think that's very rewarding.
Yeah, I think when you were talking earlier, I think a lot of people are like that, where they read all the Great Gatsby's, the what's it called, the Frankenstein's, and you think those are the books that you think that's what books are made of, and then you run into something like a How to Win Friends or Influence People, or Shoe Dogs by the found what's it called, Phil Knight, and you just get excited because you're like, whoa, there's a whole world of books and stories and ideas that I didn't know I could get these great lessons from a $20 book, right? Like it's cool. You can sit down with some of the greatest minds in the world, some of the best founders in the world for literally $10. And it's very interesting. So I really do appreciate what you're doing with your course. Talk to me a little bit about building in public. Like how have you seen like posting a lot and improving? How's that helped you improve the course like while posting?
Yeah, yeah. So I think building in public is like a great strategy for most people, because like you get immediate feedback from people. Because like, maybe I don't know how to title a lesson, or maybe I don't know which lesson people find more valuable. I could post about it on Twitter or somewhere else and kind of get that immediate feedback from people. So I think this idea of also like authors have this idea of like, oh, I'm just gonna go into the woods, write this great book, and then I'll publish it and the world will love it. I think that's like a terrible strategy, because like what you want to do is like, share some like early chapters or share some paragraphs with people in public, get feedback, see which lessons people love the most, and then include those in the book, which is kind of what James Clear did with Atomic Habits. Like he wrote all these blog posts, then he saw which ones were the best ones, and then he put those into his book. So I
Yep.
think you want to do the same thing with like your course. You want to, I would list out, a bunch of lessons. I would ask people which ones do you find most valuable, and then I would put those in the course and like focus on that. So I think just building public, you get that immediate feedback from people, and that helps you build a better product.
Talk to me how you discover great books. Like when you are saying this book is better than the rest, like how do you distinguish an amazing book from books that you're like, all right, I didn't get that much value from, or I don't even want to read that book. Like how's your decision making there?
Yeah, it could definitely be subjective because there have been like some life-changing books I read that I recommend to a friend. And they're like, oh, this one wasn't that good because, maybe they have different problems or different experience. So, that happens. But like personally, I think you could tell within the first, 2 to 3 chapters of a book, like how great it is because authors, just like when we talked about like the threads and the headline, same thing with authors. They spend the vast majority of their book or their writing focusing on the first few chapters of the book because they need to be able to like hook readers in, so that's where they provide the most value, and then they spend like less time on the middle or the end of the book. So if the book isn't great or amazing in the first few chapters, it won't hook you in and you won't end up reading the rest of it. So you could think about it as just like any other movie too. Like you never start a movie that has a crappy beginning and then you're like, all right, I'm going to keep watching it and then it gets amazing later. It's usually like if you think back to the best movies you ever watched, it was amazing in the beginning, amazing in the middle, and then amazing in the end. I think it's the same thing with books. Like you could tell within the first few chapters, like, oh yeah, this book is blowing my mind, and it could be like one of those life-changing books.
Yeah, I think when I find really great books, I know I enjoy them because I'm already texting my friends and sending photos like 20 pages in. You're just like, you guys got to read this book. Same thing with like a podcast. If I see, I guess it's kind to me, I think about like bars per minute in a podcast, like how
Yeah.
many great lessons are being or how many great gems are dropped, and I'm passing it, right? So I think it's the same thing with books. Like how do you think about building community and engagement like within your course? Like, do you have anything more on it on the back end, or how do you think about community and engagement in your brand
Yeah,
in general?
yeah, for the course, I left all the comments open. So like if anyone had a question about any of the topics or about the course themselves, also include like my email. And then I answer like every single comment, every single question about the course. Because one, I want people to know like, yeah, I'm there to like help you or there to, if you have any questions or anything, happy to help. So just, t letting people know that, there's an option available to communicate with me. I think that's super key. And then outside of that on social media, I think that Paul Graham quote of like do things that don't scale. So
Yes.
I try to answer every single comment or every single DM, every single email. If you email me just like, oh, Alex, can you give me free books? Like I won't answer that. But if you say, oh, like your book recommendation, I really love, then and then I told my friend about it, something like that, then I'll respond to your email and be like, oh, thank you so much for your support and thank you so much for like trusting my book recommendation. Really appreciate that. So just trying to communicate to people and show them that like, oh, I'm reading your comments, I'm reading your messages. It's not going into the void.
If you enjoyed that clip, make sure you head over to www.bookumapp.com to download our app so you can connect with your favorite bookish content creators, start conversations, and start your own book club.